Hello and welcome to another pen video from me, Penultimate Dave. So I have here another 10 pens currently inked this week. I think let's go through them briefly one by one. We'll go through them in a little bit more detail and then we'll do a writing sample. So from left to right we have the Benu Euphoria on the Vodka on the rocks. We have a Benu Euphoria in the Bourbon. We have a Jinhao X159, and this is a number 8 size nib. We have a Conway Stewart Churchill Red Stardust. We have a TWSBI Vac 700R Iris, which I haven't used for some time. We have a Sailor King pen in the Lucky Charm in the Pro Gear version. We have a Sailor King pen in the Stormy Seas. We have an Atellier Luso Andromeda, and this is in the Vulcan's Forge. We have a John Twiss or Twiss Pens Volcano, and we have a Diplomat Aero. So I think let's take a look at these pens in a little bit more detail. So we have the Vodka on the rocks here from Benu in the Euphoria model, and I really do like this a lot. It's a beautiful, beautiful sort of glittery cracked ice type of effect going on here, and I really do like the colouring that you get out of this pen. It is a little bit of a bling pen. It's not necessarily for everyone. I know a lot of people think that the glittery aspects of the Benus typically are a little bit overstated, but I still like this pen a lot. It sparkles a lot, and it actually, I like writing with it, and I like the look of the pen, honestly. Now, you do get these clips that are back spring operated here, which I do like. I always have difficulty trying to pick up the clips if I were to clip it to something. Now, if I unscrew the cap, you do have the number 6 size Schmidt nib there, and I just inked my finger as well. And it's a fine nib there from Benu or from Schmidt. It is a cartridge converter pen. It's actually a really decent size in the length of my hand, but I can, if I want to, post that cap. It does make it a little bit long though, but you can do if you want to. The sections on the Euphoria I wish were a little bit wider in diameter, but I can still use them. I'm not a fan of really narrow sections on pens. So I typically prefer something around the 9 or 10 millimeter mark, if not wider. The next pen here, again, is another Benu Euphoria. It's the Bourbon, and I will call it the whiskey at some point, I am sure. Beautiful, beautiful, lovely, again, glittery pen. I think this one's a little bit more on subtle effect compared to maybe the Vodka on the rocks, but I still love it. I love this a lot, and I really wanted the Vodka on the rocks. I couldn't get it. It had been long sold out, and I bought this one, and then a little while later I noticed Derek at Stonecott Fine Writing Supplies had the Vodka on the rocks, so I picked it up very, very quickly. Again, its Euphoria models have this lovely spring-loaded clip there, which I do like. I am a fan of. Number 6 size nib as well, which I am a fan of. It's a Schmidt nib, a fine nib, and I have thought about getting a medium or broad on these. However, I do like how these fines write, so I'm actually quite happy with them. The length of the pen, again, is quite long. It tapers in a lot towards the end there, but you can post the cap. It posts deeply and securely, but you can see I don't need to post the cap, and for me, I like this pen. It sort of, I don't know, honestly, this is going to sound a little bit weird, but it brings a sparkle to my life. There, I said it. The next pen, which I'm also amazed at actually at how good some of these write, is a Jinhao X159. It is the acrylic version. It's not acrylic over metal or brass like a lot of the Jinhaos are. So it hasn't necessarily got the same weight to it as maybe a Jinhao X450, but it's a larger pen and it's fully resin or acrylic. You do see there on the cap band Jinhao X159. And I like it, mostly because it's got a steel number 8 size nib. This is a fine nib. I believe I've seen these in extra fine and fine. I have heard from people that they've got them in medium or broads. I've not seen any for sale in medium or broad, but maybe you can get them. But typically, I have 6 of these, 3 in this like burgundy red and 3 in a very dark midnight blue, and all of them are fine nibs. They are cartridge converter pens, so you do get a cartridge converter. I'm almost out now on this one. I will probably ink it back up. I do like the ink combination. I can post the cap. It posts deeply securely. This very much reminds me of a Mont Blanc 149, but at the cost of £6, €6, $6, versus a Mont Blanc that is at least £600, euros, or dollars, and that's at a good price retail new. You're probably looking more close to 700 or 800 now. I think this is a really good bargain at the price that Jinhao are selling it for. I honestly think they could probably sell a lot more of these at higher prices, but honestly, I like it that they're selling them at £6 or £6 to £7 nowadays. The next pen it inked up is, again, another pen that I like a lot. I've not ridden with a lot lately. I did write with it last week. It's the Conway Stewart. It's the Churchill in the red Stardust. Very, very beautiful material. This was made by Bespoke British Pens after Conway Stewart had shut its doors. So it does have the British flag nib there. Although Conway Stewart, or what is now Bespoke British Pens, have started creating pens with the Conway Stewart nib on there now. I don't know exactly why they didn't put it on there. I think they maybe couldn't get the rights to the nib imprint or something at the time and had to wait a number of years, possibly. I don't know. This is a cartridge converter pen. I can post the cap, but it is very long. So I don't post the cap on this one. But this is a medium nib, 18 karat gold nib. These nibs were advertised as flex nibs. They really are not flex nibs. I don't know why Bespoke British Pen, if you ever go to order a pen from Bespoke British Pens and it says flex nib on it, it's not. It's an 18 karat gold nib that is, and most flex nibs are 14 karat gold. So to say it's a flex nib is a little bit strange. But the 18 karat gold nibs are very rigid gold, made by Bock. So I would say that I even actually have other 18 karat gold Bock made nibs, like from Visconti, that are more flexible than these ones on Conway Stewart. That's not to say the original Conway Stewarts weren't bouncy nibs. That as I understand it, a bunch of them were. But on the Bespoke British Pens ones, they are pretty rigid nibs. It almost feels rigidness in terms of steel nibs. The next pen inked up this week is a TWSBI Vac 700R Iris. I really do like these. I like these for a bunch of reasons. I love the lovely sort of iris effect, rainbow metallic colour going on there. I like that they're demonstrators. I like that they are vac fillers as well. I like that you can see the amount of ink. And they have steel nibs, and this one is a medium nib. I've got them in broad as well. It's a number 6 size nib. I do like these a lot. You can post the cap if you want to. It makes it longer, but not like overly long compared to some pens. But this, for me, is a nice pen. And one thing I do find is if you're going to go months and months and months, almost a year even, and not write with a pen that is inked up, you'll find that TWSBIs really do need very little coaxing to start writing again. They are really good. They've got really good cap seals on them. So if you're not a frequent writer, but you want a larger ink capacity for whatever reason, then that would be a pen to go for. The next pen inked up this week is a Sailor King pen, and it's the Pro Gear edition in the Lucky Charm. And Pro Gear is flat tops, it's not cigar or cigar ends. Has a very lovely two-tone Sailor King pen nib. These are 21 karat gold nibs. I got this in a medium that you should be able to see there. Very nice pen, and you can post the cap. I actually got this one. I always think that I bought loads and loads of Viscontis from Chris at Truffet over the years, and then I just didn't buy anything for years. But just thinking about this now, I actually bought some Sailor King of pens, specifically this one and also the next one from Chris at Truffet. And for some reason, I blanked that out, and I don't know why. Whenever I think of buying pens from Chris, it's been Viscontis, but I have bought other pens from him as well, notably Sailors, some Tatchers as well. So the next pen inked up this week is the Sailor, and it is, if I show you here, it says Sailor, the King of Pen, 1911, and this is the Stormy Seas. I actually bought this from Chris at Truffet at the same time that I bought the Lucky Charm. And I thought I would like this more, but I ended up liking the Lucky Charm more. And I don't know why, but like this blue is a lovely metallic blue. And typically I do like metallic or pearlescent types of material. But for some reason, I don't know. I don't know if it's the colour of the blue. It's just, it doesn't speak to me as much. Again, it's got a Sailor King of Pen nib on here. And you can post a cap if you want to as well. I got this with a medium nib. It is a cartridge converter pen as well. And you can see that there. The same with the Lucky Charm. All of the Sailor King of pens are cartridge converters. Interesting, I haven't seen Sailor actually do one yet that has a piston on it. I think that would be quite popular, certainly in the Western world. I know in Asian world, or in Japan, that most people don't like large bottles of ink. Like they don't like 80 or 100 milliliter bottles of ink. They prefer 15 or 20 milliliters. Whereas in the Western world, most of the time, we actually prefer more ink content in a bottle. So we actually prefer like a Diamine 80 ml bottle of ink. So that's an interesting thing. So maybe that's why Sailor haven't really... They've done the Riallo Pro Gears with the piston, but they've not done a King of Pen. At least not from what I've seen. Maybe they have, but I've just not seen them in the UK, or I don't think even in America or Europe as well. So you can post that cap. It does post nicely. I do like how Sailor King of Pens write. I like their nibs. So... I have mostly medium, so they're Asian medium nibs, so they write mostly like a Western fine to medium. I do have one with a broad nib, so that writes mostly like a medium to a broad, but I do like how they write. The next pen is a pen that I've not inked up for some time, and it's a Atellier Luso that I had. You can see there, hopefully, L for Luso. He has since put like a dragon on there, on the cap finial. These are Andromedas, and I really do like these a lot. This one was a bunch of pens I had made directly through Eric. This is a number 6 size Jovo nib, steel nib. It's a broad nib. It is a cartridge converter pen. You can't post the caps on these. They're not designed to do so. There is a bit of a step there. A lot of people hate large steps. It doesn't bother me because the section is of a decent size. So I don't really feel that there when I'm writing. So it doesn't bother me, but I know it does bother some people. But I do like the way that the cap screws on almost seamlessly to the body there. So I have that one inked up with me this week as well. Another pen I've not had inked up for a long time is this one. It was a pen I bought, I want to say 2017 or 2018. I think it was 2018. And I bought this at, I know the exact location. It was the Northern Pen Show in Chester. And I remember being there and videoing, as I do a lot of the pen shows. I saw this early on John Twiss's table, and I said to a friend who was with me at the time that if that pen was there when we are closing up at the end of the day, I may go and talk to John and see if I can buy this one, see what deal he would do. And as luck would have it, the pen was still there at the end of the day, and I went to John and said, would you be able to do it for this price? And he come back and said, yes, okay. So this is made of Alumilite by John. The material is not made by John, but yeah, he turned the pen. But it's beautiful reds and oranges and greys. I never really knew what the model was. And I never really thought to ask John, but I just call this the Volcano because it, to me, looks like a volcano. It's a very, very well, nicely shaped pen and polished pen. It has a number 6 size Yovo nib, broad nib, and it's got the T logo for Twiss pens. It's not a bad size in my hand there. A slight concave section to it. You can post the cap. It doesn't post deeply though. It will post securely, but it does make it quite long. I liked the material on this at the time, so that's why I decided to buy it. I do like the lovely sort of ash grey effect going on with some of the very hot red lavas of the volcano, hence why I call this the Volcano pen. And then the last pen was a pen that was gifted to me from a friend, is this Diplomat Aero. And I do like the Aeros. I always wanted one. So I was really glad actually when she gifted me this pen. This is not the steel nib version, but it's a 14 karat gold nib version of the Diplomat Aero nib. And I believe that is a Yovo nib. I think that's what they use on them. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it is. It is a cartridge converter pen. I can show you that there as well. It's almost out of ink. I do like the size of the pen. It's a little bit on the shorter size to maybe what I'm used to. The section I do find a little bit slippery though. That's the only thing that I do find about this pen. So my fingers will slip a little bit when they write. I do need to be a little bit careful if I'm writing in summer months where my fingers might be a little sweaty, because they will slide more that way. But I like it. It's got a broad nib and a push to click cap, and I don't know if you can hear this, but that's quite a loud click, and I'll do it here to the mic. It is quite a loud click. So I do like, although I'm not normally a fan of click caps, I do find that one is really good because it really is quite firm. So there you have it. That's my 10 pens currently inked this week. I think let's now go and do a writing sample. So the first pen inked up this week is the Benu Euphoria, and this is in Vodka on the Rocks. And I'm going to do an ink swatch here, and I probably should, when I actually ink up these pens, I probably should have a glass of vodka with me, or maybe for the next pen, which would be a glass of bourbon or whiskey. Maybe I should do that one week. It'll be something like pens in use, but it will be, or currently ink pens with a bottle or with a glass of whiskey. Or vodka. So this is the Benu Euphoria, and it is the Vodka on the Rocks, and it's a fine, and it's a Schmidt steel nib. And then the ink in here is Diamine, Shimmertastic, and it's the Cobalt Jazz. Now, do let me know if there are any inks you think I should ink up in this beautiful coloured pen. I still think it needs to be a shimmery ink. I'm not adverse to having a shimmery ink in there. I thought about, was it Diamine, Shimmertas? Is it Diamine? No, I think it's probably Herben. The Stormy Grey. I think Diamine also have a Shimmertastic one there as well. Let me know what ink you think I should ink up in that pen. The next pen is a Benu Euphoria in the Bourbon. And I really do want a nice glass of whiskey or a nice glass of vodka right now. And maybe I will get one after doing this. Can you imagine me drinking maybe a glass of vodka or a glass of whiskey for every pen that I ink up? So that would be what? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 glasses. That could be an interesting video, couldn't it? So this is the Benu Euphoria, and it is the Bourbon. And I'm not a heavy drinker, so that's why I say it could be a very interesting video. It could be a very long video as well. This is a fine, and it's a Schmidt steel nib. And then the ink in here is Diamine Ochre, which I still like a lot in this pen. I probably should put shimmer ink in there, but I just like how that one writes. The next pen inked up is a Jinhao X159. And I don't think you can get much more budget than this, to be honest. A £6 or €6 or $6 pen. And these write pretty well. I have had to tune a few of my nibs though, because they didn't write as well as I would have hoped. Maybe a little bit scratchy or crisp like italic. But this is the Jinhao X159, and it is a fine and it is a steel nib. But I still think though that these are really good value prices for this pen, and also likewise very good if you wanted to learn how to tune your nibs and mess around with a bit of micro mesh paper. £6, €6, $6. Look, worst case scenario, maybe you spend £10, euros, dollars on some micro mesh sheets, a pack of sheets, and you mess this nib up, and worst case you're going to be disposing of a £6 pen. It's nothing massive, so I would say go for it, give it a try. Now the ink in here is Diamine Oxblood, which I never thought I would actually love that ink, but I found a pen that I like it inked up in and that it writes really well with. So I guess this is the problem with a lot of inks, is that I find that I ink up an ink in a pen and go, yeah, it's not a great match, either colour-wise or it just doesn't flow nicely. And then I discard the ink for a long time. And then I will ink it up at a next point, maybe a year from now, find a pen, and I really like it. The next pen inked up is the Conway Stewart Churchill Red Stardust. So we'll do an ink swatch here. And this is, I've gone with numerous reds in this pen before. But this, I think I've gone with Diamond Wild Strawberry. I've gone with some other darker reds. But this is a red I really like in this pen. It's the Conway Stewart Churchill Red Stardust. I'd done this the other week. Red Stardust. And it's a medium and it's an 18 cat gold nib as well. And then the ink in here is Diamine Poppy Red. I think actually another good pen in here would be KWZ Thief's Red. I think that could be a very good red ink. The next pen inked up is a TWSBI Vac 700R Iris, and this, I'm just going to unscrew the Power Vac knob at the end. We'll do an ink swatch. And this is quite a lovely coloured ink. So this is the TWSBI Vac 700R in the Iris, and it is a medium nib, and it's a still Jovo nib. And the ink in here is Venvistus. It's actually Aqua di Spargi. That ACQ always catches me out, because normally I would spell Aqua just AQUA and not ACQUA. The next pen inked up is a Sailor King of Pen Pro Gear in the Lucky Charm. So we'll do an ink swatch. And this is a nice ink, but I think I will probably flush it out and try a more of a bluish green ink in future in this. So this is the Sailor King of Pen Pro Gear Lucky Charm. And it is a medium 21 karat gold nib from Sailor. It's a King of Pen nib. And then the ink in here is Diamine Meadow. Maybe Caran d'Ache Vibrant Green might be a slightly bluish green ink that might work fairly well in that pen. The next pen inked up is a Sailor King of Pen, and this is a Stormy Seas. And I probably should ink this up with a Stormy colour. But as it's a darker blue ink, I typically just ink it up with a blue ink. And I've gone for more of an aqua-y colour, bluey, lightish blue, turquoisey almost colour. So this is the Sailor King of Pen Stormy Seas. It's a medium 21 karat gold nib. And the ink in here is Pelican Edelstein Topaz. But that is a very nice colour. Maybe doesn't quite match the pen, but it's a colour that I like quite a bit. The next pen is an Atellier Luso Andromeda in the Vulcan's Forge. We'll do an ink swatch. I always think this is a lovely bright orange ink to use with this pen. So it is an Atellier Luso Andromeda, Vulcan's Forge, and it is a broad and it's a still Jovo nib. And the ink in here is Diamine Blaze Orange, which is quite a nice blazy orange coloured ink. Very bright orange. The next pen is the Twiss Pens Volcano. So we'll do an ink swatch here. And I do find this has quite a texture to, quite a drag on the writing experience. I probably will smooth this out. I think I did smooth it out at one point, but it's not as smooth as I would like. So this is the Twiss Pens. Actually, it's not too bad, actually. Twiss Pens Volcano. and it is a broad nib, and it's a Yovo steel nib. It's just that there is some friction on that nib, not like a lot of Yovo nibs, so probably just needs a bit of smoothing out. And then the ink in here is Diamine Wild Strawberry, which is a really lovely red ink, very strawberry-like in colour. And then the last pen here is a Diplomat Aero. So we'll do an ink swatch. And again, this is another broad nib that I do like and writes quite nicely. It's a 14 karat gold nib, and I was just thinking, do I have a 14 karat broad nib? I have an 18 karat broad, but I don't think a 14 karat broad. No, actually, maybe I do. I'll have to have a look. So this is the Diplomat Aero in a broad, and it's a 14 karat gold nib. And the ink in here is Diamine Imperial Blue. Ooh. Don't forget the L, Dave. But that is a very, very nice blue ink, and I think it matches the colour of the pen quite nicely. So I think let's take a look at these pens inked up one more time. So we have a Benu Euphoria Vodka on the Rocks in a fine steel nib inked up with Diamine Shimmertastic Cobalt Jazz. We have a Benu Euphoria Bourbon in a fine steel nib inked up with Diamine Ochre. We have a Jinhao X159 in a fine steel nib inked up with Diamine Oxblood. We have a Conway Stewart Churchill Red Stardust in a medium 18 karat gold nib inked up with Diamine Poppy Red. We have a TWSBI Vac 700R Iris in a medium steel nib inked up with Venvistus Aqua di Spargi. We have a Sailor King of Pen Pro Gear Lucky Charm in a medium 21 karat gold nib inked up with Diamine Meadow. We have a Sailor King of Pen Stormy Seas in a medium 21 karat gold nib inked up with Pelican Edelstein Topaz. We have an Atellier Luso Andromeda in the Vulcan. Did I put Vulcus Forge? Vulcan Forge in a broad steel nib inked up with Diamine Blaze Orange. We have a Twiss Pens Volcano in a broad steel nib inked up with Diamine Wild Strawberry. And we have a Diplomat Aero in a broad 14 karat gold nib inked up with Diamine Imperial Blue. So there you have it. That's my currently inked pens for this week. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next pen video. Bye-bye.